And so there comes a time when all the talk is over and you gotta dive in.
Well, it started off just as me doing it myself at home, which is...
I've been doing this my entire life, just not as a business, right?
I've been making it in my basement and serving it to our friends, which is not illegal.
So, do you mind taking me through just a rough summary, what the steps are to distillation?
Okay.
Well, for us, step one is the grain gets delivered. So the grain gets delivered through the back, and then we have to process it because each kernel has to be broken and has to be broken down so that you can extract all the starch from it.
And then we add it to, in our case, we've got a 1,000-liter pot. It's called a mash tun.
When it comes to the grain, how big of an impact
huge.
Does that quality grain have?
It's huge. It's hot. It's like 90% of what you're doing, right? The grain. There's only really 3 ingredients when you're making a spirit. It's the grain, it's water, and it's yeast.
We do a mash where we extract the sugars from the grain, create a sugar water, which we then convert those sugars into alcohol. And that whole process is about a week.
And at the end of that week, you end up with that, what I was describing as porridge. We would now call it beer. And it would be, depending on the yeast, depending on the grain, I'm going to say somewhere between about 6 and 10% alcohol in that solution.
That's where everything gets fermented.
And you now have beer. Not beer that you and I put in the can, but industrially what we call beer.
And then we'll throw it through our still.
We actually ordered the still before having a spot because we knew the still we wanted. We just didn't know the location.
That, and then if you put it through a shitty still, like one that's made of, for example, there's a lot of stills that are made using stainless steel, which is easy to clean, but it doesn't pull any of the sulfides out of the spirit as you're distilling it.
And then eventually we take that beer that we've created, that malted beer, distill that twice, and then put that into barrels. To be whiskey in Canada, it's a minimum of 3 years.
Are you thinking about the cocktails that could be made with the products when you're going through the process?
100%. Yeah, 100%. We want to do something that will last, right? Something that can be here in 100 years from now, and instead of just blasting through resources. So that's for me, that's the important part. But that's always down the road yet.
I think that's all I got for you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So
Cool,
much,
man. Yeah, I appreciate that.